Greater West Bloomfield's only local morning show, giving you exclusive access into people, businesses, and events in our community. We're bringing you this show live daily, weekdays at 9:30 a.m. with your host, me, Maddie Muschen. Before we dive into today's show, every week we highlight someone here on the Splash Live, an educator, student, business, or organization from our Greater West Bloomfield community going above and beyond. If you would like to submit an entry for someone, you can scan the QR code on the screen and fill out the Google form with the person's name, their contact information, and reasons why you think they should be recognized here on the Splash Live for our Person of the Week. Now let's go check out what's going on in our Greater West Bloomfield community. The first event that's happening today is the West Bloomfield Boys Lacrosse Fundraiser. Today, on Tuesday, April 12th, the West Bloomfield Boys Lacrosse team is hosting a Chipotle fundraiser. From 5 to 9 p.m., 33% of the event sales get donated to the team. This helps reduce fees for their players. This will be held at the Chipotle, located at 6753 Orchard Lake Road in West Bloomfield. They are participating, so you can either go inside the restaurant and show them the flyer, or you can use the code DM4ZQPD if you're ordering online for pickup. So if you're looking for dinner tonight, head over to the Chipotle to help support your West Bloomfield Boys Lacrosse team with their season this year. Our next event we want to look at is the West Bloomfield Township Public Library virtual events. The West Bloomfield Library is hosting a ton of fun and educational events for residents of West Bloomfield in all age groups. Today at 10 a.m., they are having their normative cognitive decline and dementia talk. You can look for early signs of dementia in your loved ones. This talk will be presented by the Jewish Family Services over Zoom, so you register for that and learn more about how you can look for early signs of dementia in your loved ones. For this event and all other virtual events at the library, you can register on their website at wblib.org. Something else ongoing at the library is your ability to rent out those great literacy and tender topic kits to help your child with their literacy skills and ways to learn about tough topics that are happening in our community. You can rent these out by stopping in the library or calling the Youth Services desk to reserve a kit of your choice. On Thursday, April 14th, you can join in the Easter egg hunt fun at Marshbank Park. West Bloomfield Parks and Rec is hosting their Easter egg hunt, where you can hunt for eggs and redeem them for cool treats and prizes. There will also be a meet and greet with the Easter Bunny, a petting farm, and trackless train rides that you, your friends, and family can enjoy. Registration for your specific age group can be done through the West Bloomfield Parks website, and make sure to bring your own Easter basket to carry all of your prizes and eggs. The registration fee for this event is $7 per West Bloomfield resident child and $9 for residents that are not West Bloomfield residents. The last event we want to look at is Thursday, April 21st. It is the Sylvan Lake Garden Club event. The Sylvan Lake Garden Club invites you to an evening of learning on how to use native Michigan plants to support the declining pollinator populations and create healthy yards, trails, and lakes, as well as minimizing rain runoff and flooding. Led by Erica Kleitz, the director of Oakland County Cooperative Invasive Species Management at Six Rivers Land Conservancy, there will be a social time starting at 6:30 for this event, and the presentations about native plants and how to help will start at 7 p.m. This event will be located at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. If you have an event you would like us to feature here on the Splash Live, you can send us a message on our social media pages at Civic Center TV and on Facebook at Civic Center TV 15. Coming up, I'll be talking with Eric Pierce, the athletic director for West Bloomfield High School. But before that, this past Friday and Saturday, West Bloomfield helped keep our community clean by hosting their spring hazardous waste drop-off. We got to get an inside look at the items that residents were dropping off and disposing of, and I talked to Kathy Cederlin, the drop-off coordinator at the event, about the impact that this has on our environment and some of the other environmental causes that you can get involved with later this month. Let's go check it out. As we head into spring, it is important to keep hazardous items out of our landfills. West Bloomfield Township is making it easy for their residents to dispose of some of those items through their hazardous waste drop-off. We talked to coordinator Kathy Cederlin about the event and how disposing of these items properly positively impacts our environment.
We have a new vendor, so it was a new experience for us getting used to them this year, but it seemed to be going pretty smoothly. We were a lot busier for the Friday, which is usually our slower day, so we have a little bit of an adjustment, but it's going well, and the residents seem to be moving through pretty quickly, so they are pretty happy about that. this one is primarily important because I don't think everybody understands what you can and can't put in your trash, and it's something that's really important to learn. There are just things we need to help do to preserve the environment. Our air, our land, our water, and that's why we really hope that you learn what needs to be brought to an event like this so it can be properly disposed of, and we can take care of everything for future generations.
Sometimes it's confusing to know which items can and cannot go into our landfills. We talked to Kathy about how to tell which items should be disposed of at our hazardous waste drop-off.
Well, one of the important things is to look for things that say like use in well ventilated area. That's a trigger. Anything that says poison, there's triggers that are actually on your products. Anything that's an aerosol, anything as simple as nail polish shouldn't go into your trash. It should be brought here. We have a list of acceptable and unacceptable items. We also have lists on our website that tell you where to recycle things that can't even be brought here, put curbside, like tires. And there's, we've researched it all. We really care about our environment, and we can provide you with any information you need. Just give us a call and we'll lead you through. And we have shredding in 2 weeks. That's going to be 2 weeks. We separated that from our hazardous waste to help the traffic flow, and it really is a huge improvement. And we still had a couple people show up because they're used to, for the past 20 years, being able to bring shredding, but we're offering that as a separate event, and we want people to come do that too.
Just like any event, the volunteers and workers are crucial to the hazardous waste drop-off, helping customers move through the line and knowing which items go where.
Our volunteers are primarily from the Planning and Development Services Department as we run the event, but we also have a couple volunteers from the Township Board and some from other departments here at the Township. And a lot of people really enjoy working it because the residents really enjoy coming. They're in a really great mood, and it's just a really good atmosphere.
If you missed the hazardous waste drop-off event this spring, don't worry because West Bloomfield will be having one in the fall. If you have any questions, you can contact West Bloomfield Town Hall to answer any questions you may have. Reporting for the Splash Live, I'm Maddie Muschen. Don't worry if you missed this spring's hazardous waste drop-off. You can make sure to keep your items to drop off this fall at their next event, and also make sure that you stop by the West Bloomfield Shredding Day that is coming up next weekend. Later on, we'll be taking a look at a great organization here in Greater West Bloomfield that is helping our members in our community who are dealing with food insecurity. But before that, we'll be talking to Athletic Director at West Bloomfield High School, Eric Pierce, about the start of spring sports. All that and more after this short break.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head-on, visit michigan.gov/flu. Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer. Because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live. I'm your host, Maddie Muschen. Before we get to our next guest, we're going to be taking a look at our Person of the Week QR code again. If you have someone that you want to nominate here on the Splash Live that is making a difference in our community, you can scan the QR code with your phone, pull up your camera app, and scan the little QR code on the screen, and that will bring you to a Google form in which you will put the person's name, their contact information, and some reasons why you think they should be recognized here on the Splash Live for our Person of the Week. We have highlighted here on the past a couple of people that are making a huge impact in our community. So that's a great way to make sure those in our community that are making an impact are highlighted here. in our community on the Splash Live. Spring has just begun here in Greater West Bloomfield and in Michigan. And joining us now to talk about the beginning of spring sports at West Bloomfield High School is Eric Pierce, their athletic director at West Bloomfield High School. Eric, thanks so much for joining us on the Splash today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Maddie. I appreciate it.
So, Eric, can you first talk a little bit about your role as the athletic director for West Bloomfield High School and talk about some of the responsibilities and things that you deal with there?
For sure. My role as the athletic director is for the whole district. So we handle middle school sports as well as high school sports throughout my office. A lot of it, especially when it comes down to when spring, it deals with a lot of scheduling and rescheduling of events thanks to Mother Nature out there. We make sure that the facilities are scheduled out properly. We make sure that the coaches have our support. We make sure that we provide all the athletic supplies that the teams need. And also transportation and that everything's coordinated.
And Eric, before we hop into some of the exciting things that are happening with the spring sports here in our West Bloomfield School District, this past fall and winter, West Bloomfield has definitely put itself on the map with a state championship win for the girls basketball team and the snowboarding team. Can you talk a little bit about what that means for the athletic programs, especially here in West Bloomfield?
It's obviously huge, and to see, especially our girls snowboarding team, it kind of came out of nowhere. They're obviously very talented girls. We were one of the last teams to qualify for the state competition, and to see them rally and perform the way that they did was truly something that was amazing. I was texting back and forth with Bill Lambert, the coach of the team, as it was going on, and it was just like that holy cow moment that when we found out that they won the state title. It's obviously one of our newer sports, even though it's been around for a few years now, and to establish ourselves as a stronghold in girls snowboarding, it's a great feeling. The girls basketball team, we were looking at this from the beginning of the year. Obviously, a lot of the team and the coaches and everybody said, hey, it's going to be a state championship this year. This is a year that we're going to make a run. And to watch them perform throughout the postseason and the regular season, and see the big wins that they had throughout the regular season, whether it was winning the league and going undefeated or beating DEPSA. This is a team whose only loss was the first game of the season, and to see them and how they played together and being at the Breslin Center and seeing their performances and how everybody contributed, it was truly a blessing. And I tell you, the state of West Bloomfield athletics is fantastic right now.
And Eric, now looking at some of those spring sports, they have just begun a couple weeks ago. Can you give us some insight into what types of sports are in season right now in the West Bloomfield School District?
Yeah, for sure. We have a number of sports, a variety of sports that are in season right now. When we think about our spring sports calendar, one of the first things that comes to mind are the baseball and softball teams. So we do have them participating on our wonderful turf fields here at the high school. So baseball and softball are two of the sports there. We have girls tennis that's currently going with the JV and varsity team right now. Girls soccer, girls and boys lacrosse, girls and boys track and field are both going as well. And we have boys golf and sailing too.
And then,
so a lot of different options for athletics here in the spring.
And then Eric, you talked a little bit about how scheduling can be really difficult in the spring, especially in Michigan. Thus far, we've had a little bit of snow, a little bit of rain. Looking into the rest of the school year into June and July while these spring sports teams will be playing, what are you guys looking forward to most with the weather hopefully holding out for their seasons?
So it does get a little tough, Maddie, with the scheduling of everything. And we're very fortunate to have the turf fields for baseball and softball because both of them are off and running. And then to also have our stadium field, which is turf. It allows boys and girls lacrosse as well as soccer it allowed them to play a little bit so far. Tennis is just starting to get going. Same with golf. The courses out there are just starting to get ready to rock and roll. So, we have had some teams that have had a little bit of a hiccup or a delay. But once we get around to right about now, we're hoping that Mother Nature cooperates with us a little bit better, and we can start getting all of our games and matches in. Because what the challenge is in the spring sports, you'll see that we schedule all these games early, and then when they can't be played, they have to be rescheduled. And then all of a sudden, instead of a team playing 2 or 3 games in a week, a baseball team could be playing 6 or 7 games, and same with softball. And it just really, it gets tough to find a way to get all the games scheduled in.
And then Eric, as we're kind of heading out of the pandemic, restrictions are relaxing a little bit. Can you talk about some of the specific teams that last year maybe missed out on a couple of their games or a majority of their season because of the COVID protocols, and what they're looking forward to most with the season?
Well, I think what they're looking forward to most is having the fans in the stands and more people at the games and events, and not having to deal with the daily checks for COVID and all the contact tracing that we had to do and everything of that nature. You know, everybody always says return to normalcy, and it does. It feels a little more normal this year, and that's nice. And as athletic directors, we always attend our meetings, and our last meeting, we didn't lead with COVID for like the first time in forever. And it was a good feeling not to have to do that. Now, obviously, we're still taking precautions. We're still making sure everybody's safe. But at the same time, there definitely is more of a feel with the outdoor sports that are going on right now, like things are back towards normal. And the student athletes are just excited to play and to play a full schedule and to not have to worry about a season getting canceled right now.
Well, Eric, it was a pleasure to have you on The Splash with us today. Thanks so much for giving us a little bit of update with the spring sports, and I'm sure everyone will be keeping up to date with the schedules happening this season.
Anytime, Maddie. Thanks so much for having me on.
Thanks, Eric. Once again, I was joined by Eric Pierce, the athletic director here for the West Bloomfield School District, giving us a little bit of an update on those start of spring sports. And if you want to keep up to date with them, you can go over to the West Bloomfield Athletics website and look at all their schedules and games that they have there. I got to visit an organization here in Greater West Bloomfield that is helping to support our community members through giving them access to food that they can actually enjoy. Hospitality House Food Pantry is working to lessen the stress of poverty in our community through their food pantry and other great services that they offer. I talked to the executive director, Michael Fraley, about the great things that they have in store. Let's go check it out.
Greater West Bloomfield is home to a ton of great organizations that are giving back to the community. We visited one of those organizations that is providing choices that normal food pantries may not always have. Executive Director of Hospitality House Food Pantry, Michael Fraley, talked to us about their organization and how they're positively impacting the community.
So most of the clients that we are serving are those who are living in poverty currently. So we serve anyone that's 200% above the federal poverty level. So for a single individual, that's anyone that's making $25,000 and less. And then as the family members increase, so does that income level. But we actually serve a lot of families with children. But we also serve a lot of single individuals, especially those living on Social Security disability and Social Security. Those individuals only make about $800 a month from the federal government. That's barely enough to cover rent, let alone food sources. And so most likely the individuals we see, they're already on food stamps, and we are an enhancement to that program. And so we fill in the gaps where food stamps can't. So as you can see, our pantry is set up like a store. And so clients are able to choose the food they want. And that power of choice is something that I really have realized that I take for granted personally. People who are living on food stamps, people with limited income, or people who are visiting food pantries, they don't necessarily have that choice. And so we try to stock different types of juices and breakfast items. That way they can choose the food that suits them best. We're also reducing food waste that way. We're not just a food pantry. We also put homeless clients into hotel rooms up to 28 days with case management services. We offer a car repair program that helps clients to repair their car. So we financially contribute towards that. We've helped fix alternators, tires, transmissions. And then we receive a lot of food that we can't utilize. So we help support 8 area soup kitchens that can use the food immediately that day, as long with we provide food to the Wall Lake Student Pantry Group, and we're helping to feed Afghan refugees.
Volunteers and donations are what keeps Hospitality House running in order to help our community and make up a large part of the items that they get in their pantry.
So we rely heavily on volunteers. We are a very small staffed organization. It's myself and 2 other small employees. And so we rely heavily, especially in the warehouse, to receive our food shipments in and out. We rely on the generosity of volunteers to come and help us out with that. If anyone's interested in volunteering, they can go to www.hhfp.org and they can sign up for either long-term opportunities or short-term opportunities. And then as far as donations, you can go to our website and donate. We also rely heavily on donations. We have been fortunate to be so supported by the local community. We use those donations in a number of ways. First and foremost, to purchase food, because not all the food that we do have to purchase some of the food, but we also have to pay for the refrigeration for the food, the lights and the electricity and the gas for the building. Without that, we wouldn't be able to operate. So your generosity is much appreciated.
For more information, you can visit the Hospitality House Food Pantry website at hhfp.org to volunteer and also to donate. Reporting for the Splash Live, I'm Maddie Muschen.
Thank you again to Michael Fraley for giving us some great information on their food pantry and the other services that they offer at Hospitality House. If you want to register or volunteer or donate, you can go to their website to do so. Joining us now to talk about some of the great programs that are going on at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library is Eric Shoenbaechler, the Adult Services Manager for the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. Eric, thank you so much for joining us again this morning.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
So Eric, it has been about a month since we last talked to you. Can you give us some insight into some of the events that are going on at the library? Looking at the April calendar, can you specifically tell us a little bit about the book talks that you guys are hosting at the library?
Absolutely. So we have a couple different book talk programs that are coming up in April. So just later on, well, actually a week from now, about on Monday, April 18th at 7 p.m., we have Tara Hayes, who leads one of our monthly book discussions. She's going to be talking about Everything Under by Daisy Johnson. So the theme for this season for our book talks is mythic retellings. So like ancient myths, but in a modernized retelling of them. So that's someone that's going to be coming up in April. And then we have our Friends book talks also, which we host once a month, sponsored by the Friends of the Library. The April title was last week, so coming up in May will be The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. And we do that 2 times. So we're going to be doing that on Thursday, May 12th at 7 p.m. and also Friday, May 13th at 10 a.m. And these are all going to be virtual.
And then Eric, some of the really cool things that the West Bloomfield Township Public Library are hosting are the Reader Choice book discussions. So these are really interesting because normally with book discussions or book clubs, everyone reads one book and then they come and discuss it. Can you tell us a little bit about what the Reader's Choice book discussions look like and a little bit of the inspiration behind creating those?
Yeah, so we're excited about the Reader's Choice book discussion. So the first meeting is going to be April 19th at 7 p.m. Again, we are going to be doing this virtually. So the idea behind Reader's Choice is that everyone has different genres and different books and titles and authors that they like. And some people might not want to go outside of what they're comfortable with and what they usually read. So Reader's Choice gives people an opportunity to discuss, to kind of present what they like and what they read and share those ideas with others so that people might be inspired to read something else. So 2 of our librarians, Amanda and Jolie, are going to be hosting that. And it's really just kind of an open conversation for people to share what they like and hopefully inspire other people to read some different materials.
And then also at the library, you guys have a lot of educational events for the adults at the library. So you guys have had the Learning Google Docs and Google Drive before, and then tomorrow you guys are hosting a talk about Canva. Can you tell us a little bit about these educational events and specifically the one tomorrow, what you guys will be diving into with the Canva website?
Yeah, so if people aren't familiar with Canva, it's a presentation software. So it allows you to we use Canva a lot for if people have come into the building, they see that we've got the digital screens next to all of our desks. So we use Canva to make the promotional slides that, say promote what's new on the New York Times bestseller list or programs that are coming up. So it gives the user a lot of creativity. And it's really customizable. So Canva is, as you mentioned, tomorrow evening at 6:30. That one is reserved for West Bloomfield Library card holders, but you can register online. You can register for all of our virtual programs and computer workshops online at our website. So yes, Canvas tomorrow, and then we have a couple of other virtual workshops coming up in May for ebooks and e-audiobooks. Those are going to be on May 18th at 6:30 p.m. And then we have another one on May 25th at 6:30 p.m., which specifically talks about Libby, and that's the app that you use to read books on the classic Kindle Paperwhites.
And Eric, you guys are having a lot of virtual events at the library. Looking at the COVID restrictions relaxing a little bit, are there going to be any in-person events on the horizon that you guys are going to be having at the library soon?
We certainly hope so. We haven't solidified any plans yet, but that is something that we are definitely investigating, especially with summer coming and weather being better. We're exploring possibilities for outdoor programs. Like I said, nothing has been confirmed yet, so stay tuned.
And then Eric, as we wrap up, will you give us a little bit of insight into where people can register for these great events, and then anything else on the horizon that you want to share with us?
Of course. So people can go to our website, which is wblib.org, and there is a tab called Services. So if you click on the Services tab, people will see a button for virtual program registration. So that's where they can go. They'll just pop in their library card number and last name. It'll pull up all the programs that are upcoming, and they will be able to register directly there. They're also, of course, welcome to call us or to stop into the library, and we can help them register at the information desk as well. And upcoming, we've got some great programs in store for the summer. Of course, summer reading is always our big, exciting event throughout the summer. So that will be coming. Our summer reading kickoff always coincides with the end of the school year. So that will be coming in about mid-June. And then we've got lots of fun programs planned for all ages throughout the summer.
Well, Eric, thanks so much for joining us again on The Splash. It's always a pleasure talking to you and getting some update on what's going on in the library.
Thank you for having me.
Once again, I was joined by the Adult Services Manager for the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, Eric Shoenbaechler, talking a little bit about some of the events that they have coming up and how you can register for those on their website. That's going to do it for today's show. Thank you again to Eric Pierce and Eric Shoenbaechler for joining us this morning on The Splash Live. A special thanks, as always, to our Zoom producer, Jared Clark, for coordinating the Zoom and making sure our guests joined us. And a big thank you to Calvin Brown, our board operator and director, for making the show possible each and every morning. And thank you for joining me as we explored all of the people and events in our greater West Bloomfield community. As always, you can make sure to tune in live on Civic Center TV on Comcast Channel 15 and AT&T Channel 99 Monday through Friday at 9:30 to catch up on what's going on in our greater West Bloomfield community. You can also watch our show every morning on My Michigan TV. It's a new streaming service that covers all of the great people and events happening around Michigan. You can either head over to their website on mymytv.com, or you can download the free My Michigan TV app on your smartphone and smart TV. As always, you can check out all of our archived stories and interviews by visiting our website at civiccentertv.com and following us on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram at Civic Center TV. For all of our friends in Orchard Lake, Sylvan Lake, Keego Harbor, and West Bloomfield, I'm Maddie Muschin. Thank you for watching The Splash Live.